Hello and welcome back to the Geeky Waffle. I am Hope. I am your host today, and I am so excited to be joined by our very special guest. He is a singer, songwriter, composer, and I'm going to pause for emphasis, a platinum selling artist who is currently working on Helluva Boss and the upcoming Prime series Hazbin Hotel, which is out on January 19th. Welcome to the show, Sam Haft.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Great to be here.
I'm so excited. And also, congrats on Battered Times that just came out.
Thank you. Yeah, that was, I did not expect to make Badder Times in the first place, but when my EP Bad Times came out, I did this release party where we played a bunch of the songs live. And then I thought, oh, it's kind of annoying that these live versions of the songs don't exist anywhere other than, ephemerally at this show. So I felt like Badder Times had to happen.
Oh, yeah. And it's a great album. I was listening to it last night and I was like, Rooftops is amazing.
Thank you.
He's so good. But we are here to talk a little bit about Helluva Boss and Hazbin Hotel. I love these shows. They are so funny, so good. The cast is amazing, and they are musicals, which you have written on.
Yes. Yeah. I was trying to add it all up. And I think between Hazbin and Helluva Boss, there have been most of them haven't come out yet because, Hazbin isn't out until January 19th. But I think there's been over 60 songs that I've written or worked on for both shows collectively.
And that's actually kind of like where I wanted to start, like, with this conversation, because you are the composer and the lyricist and the songwriter for these. And so, like, what is a normal day as, like, when working on a musical series like this? Like, what is a normal day for you and for also your fellow songwriter, Andrew Underberg?
Yes. So the Hazbin process is, there are stages to it. The first stage is always, figuring out where the song fits in the episode, who is singing it, what are the themes, what are the types of music associated with the characters that are participating in the songs. That's something that we always try to keep in mind. That is, maybe a little less obvious than some of the other things that we're doing, but like also a very important component of this, where it's, if this character is this style, that needs to be reflected in the music in some way. Once we really have our heads wrapped around what the song needs to be, what purpose the song needs to serve, through, just a lot of conversation with Vivienne, the creator of the show, then Andrew and I tend to kind of go off and put our heads together and just, I call it doodling. It's sort of the doodling process where one of us will like play some chords and go, oh, maybe that's fun. Or one of us will come up with a melody, where we're just kind of brainstorming and throwing spaghetti at the wall until something starts to, makes both of us go, oh, how about this? And then we just start collaborating and just moving in that direction. It is in some ways not dissimilar to improv, in that there's just a lot of yes and. There's a lot of, oh, I love this idea, and what if we stack this on top of it, and then what if we put that on the end, and so on, and just kind of each of us kind of nudging the other one forward until we have a song. And we've managed to do that enough, and with enough, I guess, consistency, that we've gotten super, super fast at it.
Do you have a favorite character that you like to write for, from either show or both shows?
So, yes. I think I have a couple different answers to that. The character that I'm the most,
the answers.
Of course, the character that I'm the most attached to writing for is definitely Stolas. I feel like, in a lot of ways with Lululand, the second episode of the first season, with Stolas's lullaby, You Will Be Okay, which was a very meaningful song for me to write. It felt like Stolas and I started the musical journey of Helluva Boss together. And so I feel very emotionally invested in writing music for Stolas, because I feel like we started this together. We're going to end this together. And so I think in terms of that level of who I'm most invested in writing for. I think it's Stolas. But in terms of characters that it's just a lot of fun to write for, I'd love to write some more stuff for Verosika, because I love making a first of all a catchy pop song, but also a pop song that is stupid on purpose. And the ability to do that as channeled through Verosika, played by the incredible, inimitable Christina V. You can't beat that combo. It's a really great kind of cocktail of things, of like the performer, the style, and also, like the first Verosika song I made in Spring Breakers in season, was it called Spring Broken, in season 1, was like a hilariously filthy song that contains no swearing, and I would love to like continue to see how disgusting I could make her music without while making completely non-explicit songs.
I love that idea because I actually like Veronica as a character that I really want so much more of. I feel like out of everybody from Blitzo's past, like she's the one that's the least touched upon, and I'm sure.
Yes, and there's definitely more Verosika to come.
I figured as much.
Yes.
It's just one of those be patient sort of things.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you brought up Stolas because I really did want to talk about Just Look My Way, which just came out.
Yes.
And it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. As the kids say, it watered my crops or whatever they say. Like, it was so good. And it really was a perfect treat. But I'm absolutely intrigued by the process behind it because I am so used to in media where like creators have like NDAs against fan works. And like,
oh yeah.
and you guys are just like, no, we're just going to canonize this song by Paranoid DJ. It'll be fine. And I'm assuming you got away with it because it was Helluva Boss and not Hazbin.
Well, yeah. So, the Hazbin, there's a lot more, generally like kind of red tape. It's a lot more insulated from the outside world in that everything needs to go through a lot more layers of, approvals. Whereas Helluva Boss is not only is it indie, but it's indie and self-funded. So there's really no one else we're accountable to. So that like makes a situation of like total authorship and total creative control in such a way where, if Viv hears this incredible, gorgeous song by Paranoid DJ and
So
thinks,
good.
so good,
So
so
good.
amazing, and thinks, you know what, if we sort of retool this slightly, this could actually work in canon where we are in the story. Like that avenue is open to us, which is something that is totally would never ever be the case were there a studio involved, even an independent studio like A24.
Yeah, because like I said, I'm used to like authors having like secret AO3 accounts and like they can't actually talk about stuff, even though Neil Gaiman's just like, I've written fan fiction, but he's also Neil Gaiman. He can do that.
Yeah.
So I was wondering about that process. Like, did you guys like reach out to Paranoid DJ? Like, how did that come about? Like, so I just find that entire process so fascinating.
Totally. Well, I wasn't part of the initial reach out, but as far as I'm aware, Viv reached out directly, and said this song is great. We'd love to do something with it. And it was also like such a pleasure to bring Paranoid DJ into the recording process too, because I feel like we have it's not just the creative side of things, but the recording side of things has become like a very kind of insular family environment where like all of the actors and Richard Horvitz, our voice director, and Viv and myself on the songs with Andrew when we're co-writing, we've become such a clique, I would say, like we've got this level of like comfort with each other that is so rare in terms of this business, where it's incredibly uncommon to have that level of ease and that level of trust in each other as creatives that makes the process like so smooth and so easy. So bringing Paranoid DJ into that felt like, welcoming a new person to like a Friendsgiving table. It was so cool to just be like, hey, here's how this works. Hey, how's it going? Like, and Bryce is like, hello, like everyone just was so warmly welcoming, and it was such a pleasure to, because I'm sometimes on hand for these when it is someone who hasn't written like a ton of stuff for the show, just to be there as backup to kind of encourage and help out where it's possible. And Paranoid DJ like took to it like that. There was I had to do next to nothing. It was so cool, and being able to see someone who obviously, with all the fan work, like this is a franchise that means so much to them, and to see them kind of come in and like take ownership of a piece of it was so cool.
So about the because you were talking about the red tape, and because to just clarify for anyone who doesn't know, Helluva Boss is still an indie show, but Hazbin Hotel has been picked up by a streamer, and
Yes.
but they take place in the same universe, and I find that's the thing I want to know most is how they will continue to infer each other, even though they're on different platforms. And I had no doubt in my mind that Hazbin Hotel was going to get some sort of album released, and we've already have the first song, which is Happy Day in Hell, which is a banger. It
Thank
is
you.
so good. Well, I can't quote my favorite line because we can't quote on the show, but so good, so good.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh every time. And then I played it with my mom in the car, and she was just like, oh.
Yeah.
I was like, welcome to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So I figured that we would get some sort of album. I'm a fan of the Legend of Vox Machina, also a Prime show, and they have their soundtrack. And it got me wondering, will we ever get a Helluva Boss soundtrack? Because I know we have your demos, but are we going to get an official soundtrack?
The short answer is yes. The longer answer is, starting this in the kind of like DIY way that it started, getting to the point where it's like, oh, now we need to do a soundtrack was like, oh my God, we need to do a bunch of new like contracts and deals that just hadn't been anticipated for when the show started. Mm-hmm. And so I think that stuff moves incredibly slow. Anyone who's ever worked on in the entertainment sector knows like legal stuff tends to be a very slow and steady process, and that that's taking a while, but we should have it ready sooner than later.
What is from Helluva Boss, because I know Hazbin's coming out. I don't want any spoilers. No spoilers. For Helluva Boss, what is your personal favorite song? And also, what is the most challenging song? And are they the same thing? And I have a sneaking suspicion one of them might be Stolas' song.
So I would say the most challenging song that has been released so far was Look at This, the Fizzaroli song from Oops.
It's so good.
Yeah, that song, now I can look back on it and enjoy it and go like, oh yeah, that's really fun. Like, and Alex, really did his thing, and like the song turned out so great. At the time that I was making it and like presenting it to Viv and the team, and even like recording it with Alex, I was like, oh boy, did I girl boss too close to the sun on this one? Because it's such a like a beef stew of a song, where it is, first of all, it's a kind of a long song for the show, but also it is a song that deliberately and must mean nothing. So it's like I need to communicate zero information in quite a lot of time while keeping it interesting, thus all of that like genre hopping. And like, does that stuff fit together at all? And I was kind of losing my mind about it and very nervous going into the release of Oops. And then obviously like it came out and everyone was so charmed by Fizzaroli doing all the hoopla. And it turned out great. But, really up until the moment it was released and well received, I was just like terrified and stressed out because it was such a challenge. And I had also listened to it so many times when you are looking at your own work over and over and over and over, you enter this kind of tunnel vision state where like you don't even know what's good anymore. But again, I think it also speaks to how well executed the creative direction of the show is, because ultimately, like, whether or not I knew whether it was like, okay, this works or not, the team heard it and was like, yes, this works. This is going to work. Don't worry, it works. And like they never had anything but confidence in that, which I appreciate because I'm a very, very nervous man.
You should know I've seen it show up in like Dungeon and Dragon groups I'm part of.
It's like bards rolling for distraction.
Yeah, like rolling just like 20s just over and over and over again. So
yeah, I mean, I feel that was definitely part of what I was looking at, was like, Fizz is not a fighter. Fizz is a performer. And like, what is the like continuous rolling of natural 20s of like managing to do this, even though the more Fizz is doing, the more absolutely miserable Fizz, like, he's just like running out of ideas. Let me speak fake Italian. Maybe that works. Like,
I've been in those like D&D groups though, where you have to do that. And it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely channeled the kind of having to improvise when you have no brain cells left because you've already improvised everything up until that point. And I hope that communicates well.
It did. Absolutely, it did.
Thank you.
So
the song I most liked making. Right,
yes,
I forgot.
Yes.
Two-part question.
Sorry.
Oh gosh. Most of my answers are songs that have not come out yet, but Clown B, if I can call it that.
Yes.
The song for Glitz and Glam in Mammon's musical spectacular, the mid-season finale. I loved that song. It was my first co-write and co-production with Andrew Underberg, who I went on to do all of Hazbin with. And like, we just had such a blast making it. And it was the song that really got him involved in the Helluverse in the first place, because he and I actually grew up together, and I knew that he was off, producing and writing music as well, and that he had been doing a lot for K-pop. So when I got the brief from Viv that like, hey, it's a K-pop song, I immediately went, you know what? Even though I'm not 100% sure I know how to do this, I know someone who does. Let me bring him into this creatively. And it's just, I'm so happy with how it came out. The process was amazing. The recording was awesome. Allison Kaplan and Faye Maida just like crushed it. It was, I'm so happy with how that turned. That of all the songs that have come out, that may be my favorite one I've worked on.
It's so good that I can't believe it's actually knocking like House of Asmodeus off my favorite list. Like, it's up there. They are battling it out for my favorites.
I do love House of Asmodeus.
That is such a spectacle of a piece too.
Yeah.
And it's so layered. There's so much. And the fact that it's not just like Fizz and Ozzy, like Veronica has her amazing moments in it as well. And the line, "You sold your life for a thrust," that is one of the best lines I
it's
feel
so good.
It's so good.
It's so good. And it's also like, what a great introduction for the audience to the, the public facing dynamic of Fizz and Ozzy, and to just like, obviously they had heard James before as Vortex, but like to hear James as Ozzy, like really like show off, like he is one of the most like charismatic voice actors working right now. He's so great.
I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the Living Tombstone.
Indeedy.
Absolutely. So like, for anybody who doesn't know, what is the Living Tombstone? And because you guys have been kind of popular lately, thanks to a little movie called Five Nights at Freddy's.
That is true. Okay, how would I very briefly explain the Living Tombstone? Okay, so 12 years ago, my music partner Yoav Landau started making music under this name, mainly in the Brony fandom.
Yes,
And
we had that
yeah,
moment because I was like,
friendship is magic.
I was like, is the Discord song like Sam? Is it the Discord? It's the Discord song, Sam. Oh my god!
Yes, the Discord remix. I should specify. Jessa, who goes by Eurobeat Brony, did this original Eurobeat version of this song. Discord, and then Yoav remixed it, and the song just exploded. It was all over the Brony fandom. You know, front page of Equestria Daily. How can you beat that?
I
And
remember that because I'm a Brony. Look, it's such a good show. I will fight anybody.
Totally. And I also think not that I'm gonna like be like, now let's do my like Brony TED talk, but I think there are a lot of ways in which friendship is magic helped to usher in this environment that we're living in now, where like there are a lot of kind of all ages cartoon shows that a lot of people, across all demographic barriers really enjoy. And I think,
If you
it
ever
was
want a
definitely one of
platform,
those big shows that I don't know that we would have the situation that we have now with as broad an audience for animation as a medium, particularly like animation that is like coming out on kids channels as kids programming, but that have a much wider audience if it wasn't for like the phenomenon of the Brony craze.
if you ever want a platform for that Brony TED talk, here, welcome back. Like I will happily like host you for that because I want to hear this TED talk.
It's thank you very much. So okay, wait, hold on. Let me speed through
sorry, Living
the
Tombstone.
biography. Yes. Okay. So
Yes.
Yoav releases that and a series of other, collaborations with other musicians making music in the Brony sphere. Although I would say Yoav was one of the, if not the biggest, and the Discord remix was, I would say, probably the biggest song to come out of the Brony space. And from there was, a few years of that, because I believe the Discord remix was in 2011 or 2012. An indie game comes out with a lot of hype for it. Actually, before then, I skipped a step. I believe this was 2013 on Tumblr. Yoav drops a remix of a family Halloween song called Spooky Scary Skeletons. He drops it on Tumblr first, where it blows up, and then he sticks it on YouTube, where it becomes like the anthem for Halloween for the rest of time. I believe, I don't remember, was it Billboard or Rolling Stone? One of these outlets was making a list of the like most iconic Halloween songs of all time, and it was like number 6 on that list. It's wild the amount
He
of
did
juice.
that version?
Yes, that is
Oh my
Yoav.
god!
He is the cultural footprint this guy has. And then in 2014, the first Five Nights at Freddy's game comes out. A week later, Yoav drops a song about it called Five Nights at Freddy's Song. And it also explodes. Then he makes 4 more. In 2016, talk about, I would say another key cultural footprint moment. He makes a song about Overwatch called No Mercy, which then is one of the first big memes on what was then called Musical.ly, that is now called TikTok. It's wild. But Yoav and I met each other at the end of 2016. We instantly got along. He had just moved to New York City. We got a music studio together and started independently working on stuff. And then because we were working in the same space, we would start, oh, how does this sound to you? Oh, can you try that? Like we would just start working on each other's stuff over each other's shoulder a little bit. And then we first like co-wrote a song together with a song called My Ordinary Life, which is the first song of ours that went platinum. Which I have tattooed on my body. The first 4 bars of that, the sheet music, which my mom hates that, but I'm very proud of it. Yeah. From then on, like the rest is history. He and I have co-written almost everything we do together. We are, we're besties with a band now. I would say that is like the briefest history of the Living Tombstone. Yoav is like such a genius, and like what a cultural footprint the guy has in the geek sphere. Like it's the Spooky Scary Skeletons, Discord, Five Nights at Freddy's, like it's endless. And he does not comport himself like someone who has that much of a who gets that much credit for like shaping a lot of the fandom music world.
And I love how you're just like, let me tell you about my boy.
Yeah, it's look at
Like
my
I can
lovely
feel your
boy.
friendship. Like
Yes.
he's mine. So I did want to talk a little bit about Five Nights at Freddy's because as you were saying, you didn't work on the original song, but you told me that you helped get it into the movie.
Yes.
And you were also on the set.
Yes. That not a lot of people know that not only did we get the song in the film, but like we got to kind of be on set and see them filming the movie. Getting the song in was, to his credit, largely Scott, who created the game series. I think, he had this vision of ending the movie with the song because the song came out a week after the first game did, and because of that, and because of the impact it's had, it has become in a lot of ways kind of an unofficial theme to the game. And I think I think he thought that should be in some way official, in like kind of a love letter to the fans of the franchise. I was lucky enough that I happened to know some people at Blumhouse. And so we had, this initial reach out happened before, even before the director, Emma, was brought in for the movie. Like this was back when it was even an earlier incarnation of the film, back in, I want to say 2018 or 2019, that this initial reach out happened. And I was like, I saw an article that like they're filming the movie now. Let me make some calls and check in and see if this is potentially something that's still in the cards. And luckily enough, like I did so, and we immediately heard back. They were like, yes, we would love to, put us in touch with your lawyer and get a couple tickets to New Orleans because we'd love to host you at the set. That was surreal. I'm a massive Muppet fanatic, and being able to go down on the set and see like the Henson team.
Who's your favorite Muppet?
Oh God, it's a basic answer. I know it's a basic answer, but I'm a Kermit man. Like I can't deny my nature. I am an anxious type A workaholic, and like I am reflected in Kermit. I would say my favorite B tier Muppet is Lou Zealand. Big fan of that fella. But in terms of, I just can't deny he's the GOAT. He's the legend, the man, the myth, the frog.
He's also a musician.
The musician. Yes.
He is.
Incredible banjoist.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm sorry that I interrupted. You went to New Orleans.
Yeah, so we went to New Orleans. We got to see the set. The set was incredible. I mean, it was one of the most amazing feats of production design that I've seen in person. They like truly built out a Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. Like it was mind blowing to be able to walk around that set and be like, this could function, and like this really could. If it was not in the confines of a large soundstage building, and you just like pulled a blindfold off me in the middle of there, I'd be like, oh, I'm sitting in the middle of a pizzeria. It was just a full, 4-wall pizzeria in the middle of this place. And it was so cool to walk through it. Like the attention to detail was immaculate, and getting to like interact with the Henson team who created these massive animatronics was so cool. That, as I said, Muppet fanatic, and to get to see the Henson team at work and creating these iconic characters, and like they were so immaculately rendered, to use that word again, that when I remember when the first teaser trailer came out for the movie, people thought, "Oh, is this CGI?" Because they look so on model, and they move so on model. Like they are just a massive feat of engineering and production design, and it was so cool to see them in person.
I would have been in the ball pit. I'd be like, this is mine.
Yeah, and the ball pit was there and works. Like I mean, not that it's not that you could jump into a ball pit
good.
and be like, this doesn't work, but it was it's just it's such a trip to be able to be like, oh my gosh, there's the ball pit, there's the arcade, there's the soda machine. Like, it was just a fully rendered Fazbear's Pizza, and it was so wild to be inside of it.
Well, before I bring us back to Hazbin, I want to hear all about your masterclass that is coming on December 11th.
Thank you.
Tell me all about it.
I have been, as I said, making tunes for the Helluverse and others for a long time now, for a few years, and it's been, well over 60 songs for the Helluverse. It's been a lot of stuff for a lot of people's, it's beyond. There's the work for TLT. I've done work for Amazon for not Hazbin, but for some Audible shows. And I just wanted to take people into my process, creating, to let them know what the process looks like of when I get assigned a song, what the creative process looks like, and hopefully give them a sense of how they could do it, and give, I wouldn't call it homework, but bits of side work they could do alongside me so that they could have a grasp on what this process looks like and feels like, and how I do what I do. And this is a course that is dropping on studio.com on December 11th, and it is dropping on sale through the end of the year. And not only do I talk you through my process, but I am not. Something that has always frustrated me with a lot of online courses is that they are coursework that just exists in the confines of the course. And that's not the case here. These are 2 songs that I was genuinely commissioned to create, that I got permission from the creators to put the entire process on camera online. And one of those creators is Vivienne and Adam Nalen, who co-wrote on this episode. So you do actually get to see me write and create a song for Helluva Boss, and it's for season 3 of Helluva Boss. So it is a song that is well in advance. It is, I wouldn't say it spoils much about the show or really anything. We stayed away from spoiler territory, but you will get to see and hear and watch me make a song for Helluva Boss that is not going to come out for probably a good year. And it is a really, really, really funny track. In addition to that, I also make 2 songs in front of people just so that they don't think every song process is the same. And the other one is with a creator, Jackson Prince, who has a feature film called Silver Alert about a kid who kidnaps his grandpa to take him to one last Dodger game. And I had to make a song for that as well. And so you can watch me make these 2 songs alongside each other. And I have only 4 days to do them. And I was not prepared or prepped to what those songs would be, because I wanted it to feel like my real process feels. I first learn about these on camera in front of you, and you watch me from the very beginning to the very end make these 2 songs.
So this was on studio.com, you said?
Studio.com. It launches December 11th.
Because it's a season 3 song that's not going to be out for a year, you've just funded studio.com for the next year as people are trying to find the song.
Oh, people are going to really enjoy the song. My favorite kind of song is a song that also includes within the song a little bit of sketch comedy. And so the song itself, very fun song, but the contents of the song are so goofy and hysterical. And I think people are going to really, really enjoy watching the process of it coming together.
That's so exciting. Wow, season 3. I just had a tiny fan moment. It's fine.
Please,
please. My little gut and my gut would just went ha ha ha.
Yeah.
So I just want to bring us back finally to Hazbin Hotel.
Yes.
Because it is the big thing that's coming on January 19th. So excited. Can't wait. Oh my God.
It's going to be
Freaking
great.
out. Without spoilers,
Of course.
what are 3 words that you would describe season 1 of Hazbin Hotel? And the challenge is you can't talk about the music and you can't talk about the songs, because I will ask you one final question about that.
Okay. 3 words to describe season 1 of Hazbin without giving anything away. I would say word number 1 is earnest. It's incredibly sincere. So earnest. Word number 2, it's really funny. And it feels like a cop out to, a show that's like described as animated musical comedy to be like comedy, but the way it balances sincerity and humor is so great. And I really love the way it came together. Word number 3, I would say surprising. I think there are a lot of people that don't really know which way the show is going to go. And I think, and I'm really looking forward to seeing those people go, oh, holy cow, it's like this and this, I think so. Earnest, funny, surprising.
I'm down with that last answer because I kind of feel the same way. Because we don't really know what kind, because we've only had a pilot, right? So we don't really even know what kind of story, and I say we as the fans, I'm talking as a fan
Yeah.
now, about like what the show actually is. Like we coming, like, was it going to be more of a comedy or a drama or a dramedy? And I'm personally really excited about finding out what the actual story is, because it feels like a possibility of a lot of redemptions, but of course it's not going to be like that simple, and I am ecstatic.
Yeah, I mean that's the exciting thing, is that people really only have a grasp on what our lead character wants. And the pilot does a really great job of like setting up that goal and setting up what she wants to do. But from there on, like what obstacles will be faced, what will actually happen when that goal is pursued, no one really knows anything. And it's always very funny to be in the position that I'm in, where now, like, I know what's going to happen for the next 2 seasons of Hazbin, for the next, through the end of season 3 of Helluva Boss. Like, it's very funny to be in this situation where, like, it creates this sense of like, oh my God, they're about to find this out. Oh my God, how are they going to react when they find that out? It's so fun for me to kind of be an audience member watching the audience. I am the audience's audience, where I get to see the way they react to things that are like long planned and coming down the line. It's so exciting.
Like, on one hand, I'm trying to like sit here and like be all professional, like as a journalist, but on the other hand, I want to be like, tell me everything about Alistair. I must know about Alistair. Talk to me. Like, I want to know.
Yes.
But I don't.
Well,
but I do,
yes.
but I don't,
I mean, the NDA bomb in the base of my skull will explode, splattering my booth with blood and guts. Yes.
I'd rather not. Finally, I wanted to give you a chance to gush about the music of Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss. And so what should we expect from the music for Hazbin's upcoming first season and for the rest of season 2 of Helluva Boss? And please gush about all the amazing Broadway actors that you have. Like, just love on them.
Yeah, this show is such a gift for a lot of reasons. One is the amount of creative freedom in terms of making the music, in spite of the fact that, like, there is a really, really clear vision for what the songs will be. There is still so much creative freedom in how to get from point A to point B. That is like so fulfilling as an artist. But it is nothing compared to the feeling of watching this incredible cast bring these songs to life. And I gotta say, like, the Hazbin cast, like, they are just the most wonderful, talented, hardworking, dedicated performers. And it's such a blessing to be able to make music for people that can, like, really perform the crap out of it. It's one thing to be able to, like, make a song you're happy with, and it's another thing entirely to be able to make a song you're happy with and have, like, one of the great singers or performers or emerging talent. I mean, I would say maybe the thing that I am most excited for Hazbin is the world's discovery of Blake Roman, because Blake, as the incoming voice of Angel Dust, who first of all discovered straight out of school, no Broadway credits, no TV, film, voice acting, nothing. He suddenly appeared and just blew everybody away. There was like it was such an undeniable performance that you could just say like, yes, Blake, thank you, Blake, thank you for being here, Blake. Blake is such a star, and being able to, I mean, much in the way I felt doing "You Will Be Okay" in season 1, episode 2 of Helluva Boss, being able to be on the ground floor of Stolas making music, or to be able to be on the ground floor of Blake Roman, and everyone discovering Blake, and being able to see just what an absolutely incredible performer he is. Because a lot of these people in the show, they've been on Broadway. I mean, Keith David.
When I saw Keith David on that list, I screamed.
Yes. There is no more legendary voiceover performer working today. I mean, performer, period, but also voiceover performer than Keith David. Getting to make music for Keith was and is one of the great honors of my life. And also getting able to, obviously I knew he could sing. He was Dr. Facilier in Princess and the Frog. Friends on the Other Side is an all-time great Disney song. One of the best villain songs in the entire canon of Disney.
Yeah, I agree with it.
But also getting to take a sort of deeper dive into who Keith is, his background, his work, and he had been performing songs on stage, crooner style songs that you can look up, and I encourage everyone to look up. I came away from that because you have to do a bit of research on everyone in the cast of what are, how am I going to write for this person? What's their vocal range? All of that. And coming away from that with Keith, I was like, oh my God, were he born, 30 to 40 years earlier, he could have been one of the Rat Pack greats. He was, the incredible stage presence, just vocal talent he has as a singer is just out of this world. Keith and Blake share so much screen time. It's to see this legend with this Blake, legend in the making, that has been such a pleasure. I can't gush enough about this cast. They are so cool. Amir Talai as Alistair is gonna
I'm so excited.
It's gonna blow people away. Everyone is phenomenal. Erica is the moment Erica Henningsen got in a booth, we were like, oh, Charlie exists. That's just Charlie. And it's just one of the most well cast things I've been involved in too. It's just everyone is so exactly the person they should be.
I'm also really excited about Stephanie, coming off of Encanto, coming into this as well.
Stephanie and Erica have such good chemistry back and forth. You see some of that in the stuff that's been released in Happy Day in Hell. They are just so charming together, and getting to work with the two of them, such a treat. But again, it's just, this show is so well cast. Everyone is exactly who they should be. And everyone's chemistry, all the scenes everyone shares. Joel Perez and Christian Borle as Vox and Val, such repartee. They're all so great together. And by the way, a massive part of that, and credit where credit is due, is Richard Horvitz, who voice directing the show, really makes sure that even when people are not sharing a booth and recording at the same time, it always feels like they're sharing the environment, because Richard is like this. I mean, obviously he is a legendary voiceover performer, but as a voice director, just has this incredible brain that like really grounds everyone in the same scene, that makes it feel so organic that it's like you couldn't tell that they weren't all in the same room together.
Amir actually said that the Emmys should look out.
The Emmys should look out. Emmys absolutely should look out. And I hope we do a for your consideration campaign for the songs in a, very selfish way. But also, the songs are like some of the stuff I'm most proud of I've ever done, ever. Like, and I really think they're going to connect with people. I think there are songs like, some of these, it's so exciting for me, again, getting to be the audience of the audience, where the only thing people have heard is Happy Day in Hell. And Happy Day in Hell is its own kind of like Disney-esque sort of number, but there's so much more that's coming that is so different and like, so again, unexpected. It is sincere, it is funny, it is surprising.
Erica said in this IGN interview, so the way I sound is I'm sort of a rebel Disney princess who is going to drop an F-bomb in the middle of the most delightful melody you've ever heard.
Erica is Charlie, like truly, the embodiment of that character. And I think part of that is not just being well cast, but it's also like the character kind of grows with the performer's performance of them. So like now, on the pre-production phases of season 2, looking at scripts and stuff, it's not just how would Charlie do this? It's how would Erica as Charlie do this? They grow together, and that's so cool to watch.
This has been such a joy to have you here. I'm so excited, and there's so much to shout out. So like, everyone please go to studio.com, find Sam's masterclass, go watch Hazbin Hotel, which is out on January 19th. You can watch Helluva Boss now. It's free on YouTube, which is like one of the best parts of the show. It's fully accessible for anybody to watch. And go check out the Living Tombstone, because they're really awesome. And
Thank
also,
you so much.
Better Times. It
Yes.
just came out.
Thank you very, very much. It's been a pleasure. Been great talking to you, and been great just talking your ear off about how much I love these people I work with.
I mean, I mean it. If you want to come back and give me a brony TED Talk, like, I'm here for that. like you don't understand. I'm not kidding. Like, if you want to, we will happily give you that space. So, if you would like to hear that, go tell Sam on Twitter. Actually, no, please don't harass Sam. He's a very nice man. Please don't.
I'm nice.
Yes. Well, thank you everyone for watching the Geeky Waffle, and just stay geeky, everybody. So, bye.
Stay geeky. Bye-bye.